Bierhaus, episode 10, featuring blacks again. We've got Ronan and Russell on the left, Connor Halloran on the right. Two of the brewers down there, Ronan being the head one, Connor one of the newbies. But yeah, you obviously all know what Dave is. And yeah, we're really looking forward to this. Obviously, Black's kind of not really a tap takeover, but it is a great promotion showcasing Ace of Haze, but we'll get more into that now. Dave, you've been working like a dog for the last few weeks.
That's what Morris done. Yeah, we're here to launch Ace of Haze, lads, and I think everyone should put our points in front of the screen and show them what a beautiful beer this is. Look at the colour on that.
Oh, this stuff is flying out.
You can't see it. You can't see it.
The murkiest beer in Ireland.
Slant your lads.
Got you, boys.
Cheers, boys.
And doing the eyes.
Cheers.
Eyes.
I've done plenty of brewery walks and tap takeovers and stuff like that. I always say to lads, before we start chit-chat, get the beer in a glass and put beer in people's necks. You know what I mean? You've had nothing worse than doing a brewery tour and walking around with nothing in your hand.
There was one problem with House Flies ever, was the beer wasn't drank fast enough.
I don't think it's going to be a problem today. I mean, I think Ronan was going for 20 pints.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and hit 20 pints now today.
And I mean,
I like a good high target. I think this is number 7, so yeah,
and that's
well warmed up now for this.
That's the interesting thing. I mean, this is only 4.2%.
Yeah.
It really bats above its weight because it's got loads of hops. I mean, you can't see through
Massive mouthfeel.
Yeah, it may as well be a tropical fruit juice because
25% of that beer is porridge oats and malted wheat. So, right, we really put everything into it. And yeah, thankfully we got some liquid out of it in the end.
What hops are in it? Why do we dry hop that way?
The dry hop and that, it's kind of a combination of all of the Ace of Haze beers that I was doing was kind of leading up to this to try and fine tune exactly what I wanted out of beer. So the first one was a cryo Ace of Haze. So I thought the best two aspects out of that was the Mosaic and the Simcoe cryo hops, which would be a really high bitterness, kind of cryogenically frozen hop pellet. So they'd be kind of 25% alpha to any home brewers watching. They'd be really strong, high alpha beers. So there's those, and then I got some amazing Idaho 7 hops from last year's crop out of Crosby hops. And I just thought, I opened the bag and kind of went, these hops are going to make the difference. So it's heavy on those, and of course you have to put Citra into it just to round it out. But I think most of the nose is probably coming from that Crosby Idaho 7. I thought it really brought a lot to the party. The cryo hops are that kind of bitter finish that you have on the end, and the Citra then, for me, I think it's the glue that brings all of that hop flavour together.
I think that's probably one of the. I mean, look, we had the first king last on Thursday.
2.5 hours.
It was king.
Myself and Connor were not great. Now we work on Friday.
It was keg in Kinsale at 3 o'clock, and the taps were pouring here at 5:30, and it really was fresh as fuck. But I mean,
the kegs are the only cold kegs in that cold room there.
Yeah. We actually
Keg by the other brewer that's there, that Sean couldn't be with us this evening. He's living in abandoned now, it's a bit far for him to go.
Cheers, Sean, if you're watching, mate.
Fresh beer to a bar. We often spoke about that many years ago. We worked together. Californian breweries where they get their beer from the tap house to the bar. It'd be just a very local thing. And then you get the freshness of beer. And there'd always be locals getting to the bar, knowing that, say, Pliny the Elder was going to be tapped up or something like that from Russian River or something like that. Like, we are actually getting that right here now, you know. That beer is as fresh as you'll ever drink it, you know.
Like that's what we want to do. Like it's great having export markets and being nationwide and all the rest of it. But like you have to remember that like Bierhaus poured the first ever pint of KPA. He's had the tap since 2013. It's always been on. He's always supported us. And if the opportunity comes like this to give Dave the freshest beer that we can, try and pass in the place on the warehouse, home anyway. I know he's going to take a few kegs, so throw the kegs into him, and thankfully a lot of the guys that are here over the last few days have been really enjoying the beer as well. This seems to be going down pretty well.
I think we were close to worrying about almost running out of ACKs before we got to Saturday after the game of Thursday. Like 2.5 hours, the first keg was gone. Like, will it make it to Saturday?
We'll see
on
now.
keg 3 now, like
I think I just checked there. I think we're on to keg 3 already, lads. That's
and that was a couple hours ago. You mentioned that.
Yeah, so we top it up another on Monday probably.
One keg today. I mean, one keg a day. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
Probably got my next Wednesday.
What's that?
But you have to put that into context as well. That like Dave pours the most beer in Munster, I'd say.
Yeah.
You know,
the best beer.
the sheer amount of guest taps that he's pouring, and the range of beer that there is available to people.
It's like 31 taps.
Yeah.
What other bar in the country has that?
Exactly. So I mean, that's probably a good point to bring it in. And like as Con said, 31 taps, currently pouring 26, capacity of 31, 220 bottles.
And beer's all day.
I mean, that's a fucking unbelievable range. I mean, that's almost one a day for a year, and you still won't get through it.
You'll never get through it because the guest beers and the specials come in and the kegs change so often. I had a couple of lads actually years ago, I think they were German lads, and they came in and they wanted to drink our whole beer Bible. We had them on the tables. Right? They started at the top of the Belgian section. They got down as far as the flavoured beers. And then I think they bailed after the wheat beers. But the he's gone back home. But every time they said to me, every time you come in, there's a new beer here. We'll never get to the end of this. We'll never get to the end of it.
But I mean, just going back to the Ace Haze, it's really interesting because when you see something that cloudy, you always picture and like you imagine like a little bit of a fruity sweetness to it, but there's not. It's got that almost dankness, that bitter.
It's a real hybrid, like, because like we didn't boil any hops for this beer. Like there is no boil hop additions. Like, so technically it is true to the New England style, but I just find that those beers they don't give me a finish that makes me want to drink more, and they just get a little bit more cloying. So like that's where the cryo hops come in, and a heavy whirlpool addition just really kind of move in.
We're just moving closer.
I think we might have a little bit of a sound issue, so we're just going to move a little bit closer so you guys can hear us.
We're moving in so you can get a better look at us.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what you people tuned into to see
We
Ronan's
haven't been drinking
mug.
Ace of Haze now by the
won't be
cake
no
for the
room for
last
Sean,
few
is
days.
If
Oh, the box is gone.
we run out of power now, it's your fault.
Sitting in his lap.
Come around
Right.
in a bit of a
There was never one of these kind of online live Zoom interviews without a whole heap of technical issues, which is kind of why we're late
Especially when we're
getting
outside.
started today. And why the two boys on the end are half cut, because we were told to be here for about 3:30. we got warmed up, and then they just kind of kept coming on to us. So.
Listen, I don't think even amongst all the episodes we did, we ever started on time. And I mean, if we're doing it live from the Bierhaus, we're definitely not going to start on time. So
The whole place will blow up now.
The laptop's about to go inside.
The MacBook Air will take flight.
we were worried about the weather. Like we were worried about where the sun would be, and there was apparently a 50 to 60% chance of rain between 5 and 6. So we thought, that's why we postponed it. But Dave was actually just sweating behind the bars, so we needed to do like, and the house is packed, so it's nice. So that's the.
We could not jump out of the way there, lads. We could actually just tell every show on the new little terrace here that we have here. Everyone get a good view of that. This is the new little area out the back here. Maybe a lot of people haven't seen it. Everyone give a wave. You're live on House Flies Live.
Everybody gives a shit.
Who gives a shit? Yeah. One of those fools doing over there. But yeah, that's a little new space we've created at the back, thanks to our landlords. As long as we keep the peace and we keep it nice and country out here, we should be able to keep it for the remainder of the summer.
Otherwise, it probably wouldn't be viable if you didn't have.
No, I mean we wouldn't open with 5 tables on the front. Well, we may open just being one other member of staff. But right now we have capacity for 14 tables, which is absolutely fantastic. John has got a training stand.
So this is the black selection that the Bierhaus has on it. So
I
we
think
got
there's
Ace
only one
Hayes,
beer that we made this year.
Pineapple Express, Golden Ticket, World's End, Saint Tropez, and what's the Battle of the Tropics. So
I love that one actually.
Different version of these.
yeah. So yeah, is that so? Different version of Ace of Hayes. So we may do a few of these tasters. Let's see how we go. But yeah, all these beers are available. Pop down. We're looking forward to seeing you guys.
And of course, we've got the black gin. Loads of black gin. Loads of black gin. Changing tack, lads. Like, bring in Connor here. Connor, you're pretty new to the black steam.
Yeah.
What's it like working for Ronan?
I could say a lot of
Is
things.
he a tough taskmaster?
He's a tough taskmaster. I'll definitely give him that one. Like the first few months, I'm there on 9 months now.
Right.
At this stage, the first few months are intense. You know, it's like there's 3 of us there running a brewery and a distillery, like the only production team there is.
And you didn't crash into the fucking door and trash the place.
Yeah, I was there 2 weeks on the forklift, got a bit of confidence, reversing out, just ripped the door.
Was that in a van?
2 weeks in, ripped the door off the fucking
Was that
hinges.
the forklift?
He says the lad who almost did it last week.
His car is his car.
No, in the forklift.
I had
He
the
reversed out,
Yeah.
but he didn't have the
Forks
roller
down.
doors all the way up, and he ripped it completely off the hinges. So.
I blame Ronan for get things done as fast as you can.
Like you
know?
would think a lad from me would be able to drive the equipment.
This fella, he's a boy racer, like, pedal to the metal. Like.
Oh yeah, mate.
The course
Is there something about the driving in blacks? I've heard rumours of other fellas are bad driving as well. No names mentioned.
Well, if you see, as we spoke about Sean earlier on, watch Sean try and reverse the sprinter, you'll just know. It's something to say.
But you guys have been slammed. I mean, to the point where you can barely get enough beer out. Has that been because of the pubs opening? I mean, I know the whiskey and the gin production has been up.
Well, like the whiskey, to be honest, was a godsend. And I think it was a godsend being able to stay open and stay producing all the way through COVID. And you know, it kept us all working. Nobody was taking holidays. Nobody was kind of laid off or anything. You know, we just kept going all the way through, just making new make and putting it into barrels. So, you know,
We hit 400 barrels there last week.
yeah. So we're really kind of we're really kind of pushing out on the whiskey side. But then, like the other side of the restrictions with the pubs is trying to judge production. Let's say, like, I'm in charge of production. Like, I'm brewing beer next week for 5 weeks' time.
Yeah.
So, you know, trying to bridge that gap, and then if I get told now that all the pubs are open, when they are open, what kind of volume are we going to be looking at? Like, it's very, very hard for me to judge because I have to be 4 to 5 weeks ahead of production.
Yeah.
And we've certain pinch points now, like even just trying to get into kegs to put the beer into. It's an
tank
absolute.
space and that as well. You can only make so much beer.
Yeah.
You know, and like.
And you were saying it's at the moment because you guys are getting a new set, but at the moment it's quite cramped. You know,
Like we've got
utilising it to
we've
the
got
max.
4 tanks that we can have beer in.
You can turn them a lot faster, but you've got to balance it out. But if I move that beer too many times now, I'm losing a lot of volume, which
You're
is
losing more than volume. You're losing aroma. You're losing flavour. You're losing so much.
Yeah, so something like the Ace of Hayes, I'd never move that beer. Like that's a single tank beer, goes into tank, fermented in that tank. A shitload of hops go into it, comes out of that tank into bright carbs and into keg.
Just for our beer nerds, you mentioned the other night. What does a beer lose every time you transfer?
It loses IBU and aroma.
RBU.
Yeah.
Bitterness.
And how many weeks generally does it take to brew Ace of Hayes?
For
This particular one only.
this one was just slightly over 2 weeks or 3 weeks, sorry, from brew date to kegging date. And that went pretty smooth, and I think that comes through. Like there's a lot of the aromas still there.
Even for a beer that's like there's no wild hops, but like you get like straight away you taste it. Initially it's like an absolute juice bomb, and then once you swallow it, it kind of finishes. It's leave this kind of like hoppy bitterness.
I have a funny
I don't
feeling.
know if anyone has tasted raw
Hoppy
but,
bitterness.
Like this crazy hoppy bitterness.
I have a funny feeling actually. Do you remember the beer we brewed? Was it a was that Derek? Was it? No, it wasn't. It was one before that. We did the Cork Trail.
Blood orange.
Blood orange. Do you remember we also
No,
drinking?
the grapefruit.
The grapefruit.
Pink grapefruit.
Pink grapefruit, yeah. Bruce Lee. Yes, Bruce Lee. Thanks, that's Bruce Lee. I remember drinking that. It was fresh, and a couple of weeks on, that was still really shining, but it kind of evolved. It had changed slightly. It kind of created the body had kind of grown in this moment, but then it was still very fresh. But I have a funny feeling this, a couple of weeks in, would even just evolve even more, right?
Yeah.
Just even shine a bit better.
You condition a beer by leaving it cold and keeping it under pressure. So a keg in a cold room is doing exactly that. It's under a higher pressure. I'd put a beer in the tank to reduce the effect of carbonation on it. But
My only gripe is it's only 4.2%.
that's the point, though.
That's the time.
Because
Man, we came in and drank like
think-
6 pints of this the other day, and it wasn't until like the 5th pint where you're like, oh, okay.
I've had a few.
You know, you can go in and drink any amount of pints.
Sean, you can have 5 or 6 pints of this. You're not walking into puddings up by the prairie.
Yeah.
I was driving home one night. I was driving home. We have to go there. You've
has to be done.
You've done the church slag a couple of times now, and it only happened to me once.
Okay.
I was driving home one night, and Sean was after probably a couple of big beers.
Delirium
And he's walking across the road. There's a massive puddle by the prairie, and all I can see is the foot going in and going splash up around his head. I want to roll out the window. It's like, Sean, is your foot wet?
But you know what? The dickhead then drove past me. He could have given me a lift home. I mean, what? Oh, jeez. That's what
you
it's for.
need the exercise, man. You're getting a bit chunky there.
Yeah.
The lockdown is not being kind to
We
the
call
person.
it the COVID spread. The COVID spread. Never mind first year spread, it's the COVID spread. So, I mean, what else is going on down in Blacks for the rest of the year? I mean, what's the plan? Are you guys, is there a bit of a contingent? I mean, you guys are getting distributed everywhere nowadays.
Yeah, we're with one crew now. We changed to them actually just at the start of lockdown. So they're getting us into a few more kind of different avenues. A lot of the multiples are picking up the beers. There's a lot of KPA sales, black IPA sales, and tropical IPA has been listed in done. So we've got to start working on production and output for that to get that into bottle. And then keeping on top of keg sales is the main thing that I'm focusing on at the moment. You know, that's to the forefront is making sure that if people need kegs, that the kegs are there. You know, so I can brew the beer, but I need to find the kegs.
It'd be exciting as well, like the fact that where we are with whiskey production. We've just finished the Founders Club, and now we're getting into producing our own spirit. We've got some beer casks there that some interesting ones like Pineapple Express. And we've
KPA cask, black IPA cask.
This whole thing can get very, very interesting in a couple of years' time.
It's like 5 years and you'll see some extremely interesting whiskeys coming out of Black Site. You know, it's all experimental stuff. But
It's something, if there's any kind of spare capacity, obviously kind of seasoning whiskey casks is something that we're really interested in. It adds another development
being the only
to the flavour.
co-located brewery and distillery in the country. To have that capability, to be able to put new make into an IPA cask, because it's yours, you don't have to buy it off.
You see now, if I have a bit of spare time, like we're running apple brandy there, and we did a peach moonshine, and we put it into a virgin oak cask.
It's one of the things that I've, like, since I've started in Blacks, since I've started in Blacks, it's one of the things that I've found so amazing. The fact that it's a brewery and a distillery. You come in there, I worked in hospitality for years before. And, you know, you come in and you're all of a sudden you're part of a production team that's running a brewery and a distillery. And how kind of out there Blacks can be with stuff is like, oh, we've got this, why not try this and see how it goes? Because you might make some middling things, but also it might hit gold. Just make something absolutely amazing, like a double IPA aged whiskey. Just their own barrels, their own thing. How exciting is that?
I'd say anybody that's had the golden ticket will kind of know that it's banging pineapple. It's all out there.
Well, you love your Pineapple Express.
We have cast season with that beer.
Tell us, Ronan, talking to the Golden Tickets. Has there been any winners yet?
Yeah, because I haven't.
There was one definitely on the first kind of day. Now I'm
out of touch with it.
I'm not really in the sales kind of thing. Like,
But how many Golden Tickets were there?
There was 50. No, there was
Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. Like
15, 15 cans won. So on, let's see there, on the Golden Ticket IPA, we went kind of Willy Wonka style. And if you peel back the corner, basically you either get it.
Fill it back and win your own beer.
see.
Right.
Please be a winner.
Wouldn't that be funny?
That would be funny. Not a fucking.
No.
Stick it back on. Stick it back on. We sell it later.
I haven't done it.
But you'll still
like-
get a discount code.
But so like we did what? We did about 200 cases of golden tickets, so 200 by 24. We quoted 5,000 cans. There's 15 like supreme prize winners, which is free beer for a year, and then a lot of the other codes. You go in, there's a kind of a spinny wheel kind of a thing that gives you a discount to the web shop. And you can use that to get some freebies, or there's a few freebies on that wheel as well, kind of cases of gin and things like this, you know, that
Tell us,
you can win. So.
sorry, couldn't question. Tell us what was free beer for a year? Was it a case of beer?
Yeah,
for
how much
Case,
is that?
case of beer a month. 'Cause,
Case of beer 1 month. But I mean, that doesn't
Me
work.
and Sean are working this out.
That doesn't work.
Drink responsibly.ie.
Myself and Sean are working this out. Myself and
That
Sean.
is that is the amount of units
We were
you
trying
can
to work
have,
this
and
out,
that's
right?
fucking.
We
That's
were
it.
Just ignore these guys.
We were trying to work it out. We were trying to work it out that apparently one definitely went into the beer cloud. Myself and Sean worked it out. That
Yeah.
we'd have to buy how many cases? Like there was 1,440 cans. I was like, yeah, we'll definitely be up if we won.
If we won.
Yeah,
We would, yeah.
we had no way of telling though if
We would get that.
we would get that.
No.
If it already hadn't
They
been sold.
probably shipped it all to Beer Club. Like that's the. But I mean, just coming back to that
one,
loyalty.
one ticket, I
went to-
Just going back to loyalty. I mean, the barrel thing. I mean, obviously you guys have brought out the Ace of Haze range. It seems to just be expanding by the month. Battle of the Tropics, Ace of Haze, 2 different versions. But I mean, you had the barrel
the
adoption
little
program.
can is the result of all of the big cans, basically.
The Founders Club. So I mean, so that's closed now. You can no longer buy a barrel at Blacks.
No, there's actually
There's a couple still filtering through.
There's still a
And
few slots left.
there's
of maple syrup
they've
barrels,
started up.
pieces of beer.
Yeah, no, this pieces of 8 thing where you buy an 1/8 share,
Yes, that's what
which
I
is
was.
you're buying.
You end up with like 46 bottles, I think, at the end of it. It's like something like 46 bottles.
Yeah,
you get
I'd hate
46
to be
bottles.
live on the
get it
internet
wrong.
now and quoting it. There's an amount of bottles that you get
Well,
for
look, there
it's
was
basically €1,000 investment in a really interesting cask type. So something like a maple syrup barrel or a tequila barrel
Interesting
or
enough, it
something
was
like
the,
this. So you'll get like tangible output from it. And
But I think it was the last 2 spaces on the last maple syrup barrel that was there. That was available for today.
and that maple syrup barrel, I swear to God. It was just myself. There's
Yeah,
only
yeah.
3 of us in production. It was just myself and Connor there that day. Sean was moving house. And,
Dumping maple syrup out of the barrel, the cask.
manhandled this cask up, right? And we're
spilling some,
collecting,
we're spilling some.
collecting this. The most amazing is like a maple syrup liqueur. It's
amazing.
honestly, it's one of the most amazing
If
things
you
I've
like
ever
maple
tasted.
syrup, you'll never get better maple syrup. Full stop.
Fellas, Sean just cracked the pineapple golden ticket. Connor, talk us through this model.
Yeah,
Right,
so
give us
the
the
pineapple-
lowdown. Since he left you at the right
Well,
time.
to be fair, the pineapple golden ticket was born out of a canning day, and the lads from Bevcraft came down and we were kind of. They had like, I think they had a couple of gold tops, and we're like, lads, just wouldn't it be great to do like a golden top on a beer, like maybe a bit of a price. And it was Sam's idea, like, oh yeah, we should do an golden ticket thing. And it was that this beer was made like on a whim, just like straight out. Like, oh, should we do a double IPA? So we do a Willy Wonka kind of style thing, and get people out to the brewery. Especially now that we're moving and we're getting like a much bigger production space just down the line soon. But a sort of a beer that was like it's all rolling. It's all rolling inside it. It makes the.
I love the reference on the back to Willy Wonka. It says,
Yeah.
a little nonsense known again is relished by the wisest men. Willy Wonka. You probably can't see that.
And even like during the production of this beer, like it just seemed like it was a kind of a crushed beer, but then it turns out at the end to be this. Even at 8.2%, I think it's thinkable. You can have a couple of these and
It doesn't feel like 8.2%, certainly. And you know what, I mean, it's really good to have a high volume beer from you guys, besides the Rocket Ship, which is one of your flagships. So this is really good. I mean, obviously World's End and that is, really, really special. But this is good. I mean, Ronan?
I'm just saying with
It was tricky.
from start to finish, like maybe the beer would seem like it was coarse. was bits happening here and there. It was like it's not going to be as it turns out. Like as exactly
No, it was a bit of a battle. Like our brew house is designed to produce a certain kind of a volume of a certain ABV beer, so to really push the limits of the engineering capacity of the brew house to be able to brew this, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think it's pretty good.
After like the first week, like once it was in the can, like nearly initially when you were tasting it that evening.
Yeah,
like,
definitely has a pineapple aroma, and
How chuffed were you? Because I mean, this was the first time that you started in October.
Yeah.
Obviously, lockdown was a shit show.
Yep.
We called it the shit show.
Yep.
And this was the first beer, the Ace of Haze, that you managed to go from mashing, turning, to getting it poured in the keg.
Like being there while it was
Like
being
hands
brewed.
on. Yeah.
He was close. He was
Close.
very
Well,
close.
for the Ace of Haze, it was very close. I was supposed to be brewing Ace of Haze for keg, and I text my brother and my girlfriend, like, oh lads, guess who's brewing Ace of Haze for keg today? And I bashed in, and all was going well, moved over to the leather tub, for the marriage, and let them run off. As soon as it started to run off, the pump just went.
Oh, okay.
Drove it up to 60 hertz.
I thought you were going to say you were putting your place
I
with
was
it.
down the road trying to sort something else out.
Probably was.
This is my baby.
You were even standing there just making sure everything was going well, because I hadn't brewed beer since February.
But I left him for about 10 minutes.
As soon as Ronan
Went
left, I was
down the
like,
road,
man,
the
this
phone
pump
rang.
is going mental.
I was sat with Sam, the owner. I was talking about something else, and the phone rang. So, you alright? No, just fucked. Everything's fucked. I jumped back in the van and fucking tore it up the road.
And this is after him crashing, tearing down the...
Oh no, that was.
Ronan came up and he was like, look now, and like, Ronan was down at the whole like control board, like the computer basically, like pressing things like, is this working? Is this working? Like this went off for about 40 minutes. And then it just kind of came to the point where Ronan just kind of took over. So you just go on down to the lock up there and do a bit of minute. They just set that picture again, just like, guess who's not brewing this Haze for keg anymore.
Anyway, that's anybody out around town tonight, just touching on it, we are going to be running a promotion night. Ronan has dropped us in loads of goodies. So if you're in town and if you're lucky enough to get a table in the Bierhaus, you've dropped in a load of t-shirts, loads of cans and stuff. So if you're
Still
drinking...
selection packs of kind of pretty much everything we've made this year. I just kind of built up a
If
few
you're
packs for
drinking
that.
any Blacks product, be it gin, beer, if you're lucky to be spotted in the bar tonight, drinking one of them, Ronan's going to give you something. It's not a draw. He's going to walk around, he's going to go, thanks for drinking our product. You're going to get something in your hand. That's just what we're gonna do.
Unfortunately, it comes with him coming to your table.
Yeah.
But I mean,
He'll be masked up. He'll be masked up. He'll be masked up and all the rest.
Bierhaus,
He'll be COVID friendly.
You should all be lined up out in front of the Bierhaus waiting for a table rather than sitting home with your beers. Ace of Haze is pouring, come on!
There's only 7 people. There's only 7 people at home watching. Only 6. Everyone else is there. We just lost one. He was like, I'm heading to the Bierhaus.
but in fairness, if you're sitting at home watching this, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, come on, get your acts together.
And fresh fucking beer on tap.
Ace
Local
of Haze.
producers,
But
sound
Dave,
lads selling it.
Just touching on like maybe a sensitive point. Monday bank holiday launch. I would never have suspected our, very sensitive government of launching on a bank holiday Monday weekend. But how good was it?
Well, to be honest, I'm totally honest. We got caught off guard, and also the regulars. I mean, in fairness, I've actually spoken to a few of them. I think there were so many people that hadn't seen a pub in so long that they were like children running into the creche. Meeting their best buddies.
We were here.
Meeting their best buddies after, it was like going back to school after summer holidays and all running into the playground and hugging each other. First Monday back, I must say, it was, I touched on it today. I sent I think I put a post up on Facebook. I can't remember. I was half asleep and put it up. There was a lovely moment when there was about 10 or 15. I think John, Connor's brother, Daisy was behind us. Connor was there. A couple more people. We're all in a queue. A couple of great regulars. And as I opened the door, I did the old speech. Sorry, I'm Chuck Charvin Shaw.
Chuck Charvin Shaw.
Uskalt.
Oh yeah.
And there was a big cheer. There was a big cheer. It was just a lovely moment. That there were so many regulars. I think.
Which was 12?
waiting rows.
No, there was about 12 of us standing outside.
Waiting rows and half us.
No, Daisy and John got down here at like 12.
When did it happen? I was there mopping the floor. Do you want a hand? No, go away.
And
We're
the
trying to get the
opening
place
was
open.
what, 3 o'clock?
Yeah.
So they were here at 12.
Yeah.
So you lasted 2 hours. Flux, what time did you make it?
John,
You weren't here by 8 o'clock, were you?
Dave, you have a wee pour with you?
Bank holiday weekend?
Pouring Battle of the Tropics, Ace of Haze just here.
I must say,
you were
I'm a
home
big
by.
fan of this one.
Yeah, it's a lovely one. As the Ace of Haze have gone, like there's been what? There's been 4 or 5 versions of
It
Ace
actually
of Haze.
it smells nearly as pineapple-y as the golden ticket now when you're drinking it straight after one after the other.
So is that what, like, I mean, pineapple, like, battle, so what's the story behind the Battle of the Tropics?
Basically, Darren, our sales guy that comes up with all of the shite, basically, it's written on the side of the can.
Cameras are messed up.
He was off. His wife was busy having a baby, and he was busy.
I'm sorry,
No,
no,
get
he
biscuits
wasn't
or whatever.
having the baby.
Well, he wasn't at work
Can he
anyway.
be so?
He wasn't at work anyway.
up
We
running the
were
brewhouse.
finalising the label design, and Sam texted me. He said, "What should we write on this?" And I was like, "Oh, well, shit, it's oh no, I almost
I come up to you in the brewhouse, you were just
IPA, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what do I? And I googled like the flavour descriptor of the hops. You know, my two favourite hops, and both descriptors just kind of said tropical. And I was like, oh right, well, it's the battle of the tropics. So it's the battle of the most tropical hops that we
That
can
kind
get our
of
hands
fits
on.
the branding that we've got here. You know, it's very bright, tropical.
The new merch that we've gotten out of Blacks, available on
Unfortunately,
blacksberry.com.
Con's got the hats, but we don't get the hats.
The hats are a mystery. Can't know if you buy them or not.
Sorry, now,
all
who
new
are we
merch.
invoicing for this free afternoon?
Yeah, Sam.
Ronan?
Oh, free t-shirts, is it?
No, free
That all came about. Like I spent years working in the bar trade. I was working for Dave for 4 years.
How was that?
It was awesome.
It was one of look where he is now.
Working with your good buddies, like, you know, Jesus, like, we were buddies beforehand, and
Working
like,
with the buddies, like
Well, only for you last night there'll be no pints poured in the brew. The beer house.
I'm always available to fix any kind of beer issues that you have.
If you need a
I
tap
think
in your house,
I installed
call
what,
Ronan.
about 10 of those lines.
Roden has very little hands.
guess
Like, they
lines,
could get into small
probably
places.
10 or 11 leaking out at the moment.
If I can quote Ronan Russell, I have an engineer in head of me. I think it's
Anyway, lads, before we head off, I think we should wrap up.
Yeah.
Because we're bursting a small bit. Bierhaus is open. All right. The beer garden is open.
Ace of
Get
Haze
your
is
arse
flowing,
down here. Ace of Haze is flowing.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Loads of Black's products in the bar. Get down, drink some tonight, and you get Ronan's beautiful mug. And you might even get something free. He's actually going to rock around the beer garden now, and he's probably going to give out.
we're open till 11:30 out in the front. So last round's going to be
out to 11. Oh crap.
Yeah, 11:20 will be the last rounds. Out in the back, we need to close this area by 11. Just to make no, 11. Just be respectful for the neighbours who have graciously offered us the space.
Barbecue.
Barbecue. We got some crazy lads over there that are doing Chucky Burgers.
Chucky
Burgers.
It's
Making good stuff. That's where we're heading. That's where we're heading.
tasty sausage, isn't it?
But you know what? The only problem, the sausage is way bigger than the roll. But you know
That's what she said.
And lads,
And on that note, good night.
10 o'clock, please do not ask for takeaway drinks after 10 o'clock.
Get your 100 meters on the road. All right, lads.
See you soon.
Cheers.
Stay crafty.
Stay crafty.
There's about 5 people watching behind. They can all give us a big cheer. Good night.
Good night, say good night.
Worst crowd ever.
We can never hire a
You guys are fucking useless.
This is